Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for today's webinar about Chrome Workspace optimization. I'm going to turn it over to Chris for introductions, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you so much, Austin. Appreciate the intro. My name is Chris Leal. I'm a relationship manager here with Wursta. As you guys have now met Austin Leone, she is the manager of change management at Worsta. Just for context, today's meeting is being recorded and all the registrants will receive a link at a later date. So we would just ask that you stay on mute. Any questions that come up, feel free to pop them into the chat, but we'll have a Q&A at the end of today's presentation. Before we get started, I just want to give a little context on Worsta. So we are a mission-driven organization that's focused on helping companies maximize their use of the cloud. We work side by side with different leaders and technology stakeholders to help them make the right technology decisions that helps drive the business forward. At the end of the day, this helps organizations develop a culture of continuous improvement focused on real-time collaboration. With that, I'll turn it back over to Austin.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm so glad to be here.
Austin, do you mind telling us a little bit about what we're doing today and what exactly Chrome and optimization really means?
Sure, yeah, we're going to be talking about Chrome and how end users can use it to get organized and really get the most out of their workspace.
Okay, fantastic. I feel like I could probably benefit from some of these tips as well. Awesome. Let's get into it. Austin, do you mind telling us a little bit about how to optimize Google Chrome for work?
Yep, sure. So Google Chrome is an internet browser, so you can use it to access anything that's on the web. But in today's work environment, right, its usage has changed dramatically. So it's no longer just a browser. It's really your entire workspace. So employees can use Chrome settings and features to make their work more efficient and secure than ever before. They can even use it to separate their personal data from their work accounts.
Excuse me, Austin, a quick question for you.
Yeah, of course, Chris, go ahead.
So being a relationship manager here at Worsta, I field any sort of issues that our customers deal with, including those sort of fringe cases where someone might be watching a Yankees game during work hours. And let's just say that someone may have been doing that from their corporate account.
Isn't that your favorite team, Chris?
Sure, but I would never do that.
Well, not to worry, Chris. You're a really valuable member of the Worsta team, and taking some time out throughout the day can actually be good for your productivity. But I think I have some tips for you that can help keep all of your work and personal browsing separate.
Okay, that's fantastic. Can I use this if I'm a Microsoft shop?
Yeah, in fact, the majority of Microsoft customers use Google Chrome for browsing. So once you create Google Chrome profiles, you can use them with all the settings that we'll demo here today.
Amazing. So one thing I've noticed when my customers transition to Google Workspace, suddenly they have a dozen tabs open at once, and managing that can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So lots of people like to leave open certain pages all day, every day. And then as you're opening up documents throughout the day, your workspace in Chrome can become a little crowded. So really quickly, maybe we can take a poll for our viewers out there. How many tabs do you have open right now on your browser? You're going to see a little pop-up in just a few minutes. Go ahead and respond and let us know what you've got going on in your Chrome browser. How many tabs do you have open?
And folks, I think you need to go, there's a little triangle, square, and circle in the bottom right corner. If you click on that, you can open up the polls.
Yeah, I launched it, and so I can't fill it out, but I just checked. I have an extension in my Chrome called Tably, and it tells me the total number. I have 58 open right now.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm definitely guilty of keeping all the tabs open at all times.
Well, that's quite a few, Emily. So
I know, I'm glad that there's other people over 20, so I'm not the only one who's
Yeah, I
excessive
can
with that.
it looks like we've got lots of people with 10 to 20, lots of people with more than 20, just based on some of the chats and what we've talked about here. And that's really quite a few. So thankfully, Google has recently released some updates to help get us organized. So let's explore some of those tips on how to get started. So we're gonna pause the actual presentation for a minute, and we're gonna kind of switch gears here and start talking about Chrome profiles first. And then we'll talk about Chrome browser management and tab management in just a little bit here. Okay, so at the top right-hand corner, you can kind of see my mouse circling around this part of the screen. I've got my face inside of this little bubble here. And of course, for you, it probably looks a bit different. Maybe you're seeing kind of just the generic person icon because you haven't created a Chrome profile yet. Maybe you're seeing your own Google account profile picture here. But in any event, this is where all of my different Chrome profiles live. So this is the Chrome profile icon, and you can use it to access all of those different profiles that you have set up. Now, for me personally, I have a lot of different profiles that I use kind of throughout the week as I am demoing different things. But for most people, you're probably just going to have 1 or 2 Chrome profiles that you might switch between. But we're going to explore first off how we can add a new Chrome profile and how we can see whether or not it's a managed profile. So I'm going to start out here just by completing the sign-in process, and we're going to just walk through that together. So I'm going to start out by clicking on Add. All right, so it's going to pull open this little page here where it's going to prompt us to set up our new Chrome profile. You have an option to continue without an account, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and click Sign In because I do have a training account that I want to use for this demo. All right, so it's going to prompt me for my email address or phone number. I'm going to go ahead and start writing in the email address that I want to use. And this is just a fictional training account. So I'm going to type in my credentials here and click Next. I will enter in my password. Okay, so Google's loading my account information now. And then over the next couple of screens, we're going to see some options or some notices. So this first one is letting me know that this is a managed profile. So my administrator, or the admin on this particular organization or this domain, they are going to have control over this profile and will be able to access its data. And any bookmarks, history, passwords, and other settings can be synced to my account and managed by my administrator. So those are just some of the benefits of having a real managed Chrome profile environment. I'm going to click Next for now. Now, this is an option that the end user can opt into to turn on syncing. So you have an option here to sync your bookmarks, history, passwords, and more across all of your devices. And this is really such a useful feature. I know that I've been in a situation where I had a device that suddenly stopped working, and I was able to make the switch over to another device, and seamlessly it pulled open every tab that I had open last. Everything that I needed access to was already at my fingertips, so I was good to go. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and click Yes, I'm in, and I always recommend this to others as well. All right, so Google's going to start to kind of prompt me with another few things here. I'm going to see some more pop-ups. So right now, it's asking me to customize my new Chrome profile. This is actually such a useful feature for telling your Chrome profiles apart. I know lots of people just personally who have maybe a work account and they also keep their personal account logged in as a separate Chrome profile. So adding a really bright color such as a red or green can really help us to tell these apart. And just to show, I'm going to drag really quick. You can see my standard just kind of Wursta account. I keep it a separate color than this one. Now I'm going to go with gray just for today, just to keep this demo nice and simple. But just know that those really bright colors can certainly help. Okay, so now that I am logged in, Google's letting me know, it's telling me that I can switch between these Chrome profiles here at any time. And again, this is really great for keeping your personal and work data separate. So lots of people like to stay logged in maybe with a personal account like I am here. But in any case, you can always use these Chrome profiles to have that separate work set up. Now I can view whether or not this is a managed profile by clicking on the 3-dot icon. You can even see here it says error. That's because there are some extensions that are connected with this account that I'm being prompted to kind of enable. Now, I'm going to ignore this for right now, but down at the very bottom of this settings menu, it says managed by staff.worsta.com. So I have a really clear notice that this is a managed browser, right? That this browsing session is going to be managed by my administrator and visible to my organization. So really clear in terms of security settings. Okay, other things that we can do from this drop-down menu is set what pages come up on startup. And this is just a little tip that I have to make things more efficient for you. Now you can see here, by default, the new tab screen will come up, but you have an option to open a specific set of pages. So if you visit the same pages every day and you only want those pages to open up, you can have those set up so they start to populate up here and you can switch between them. Now, a second option is to use the feature called Continue Where You Left Off. And that feature is also a really cool one, and that's the one that I personally choose. So the Continue Where You Left Off feature will allow you to reopen any tabs that you had open during your last browsing session that you closed out of. So we'll talk about that again. But for now, I'm just going to click on the three-dot menu icon and click on Settings. So inside of this settings page, we're going to see lots of things here in the center of the screen, but I'm actually going to ignore all of this stuff for now and just scroll straight on down to the bottom. Okay, now you can see here, there's a section that says on startup. Now I had this set open to open a specific page or set of pages. Now this didn't happen because I was setting up my Chrome profile for the first time. But just know that you can just click on add a new page and you can see I've already done this with Gmail, with Calendar, with Drive. I can do this with another service as well. Let's say I always keep chat open. I can just type in chat.google.com and add that. And now all of these pages are going to come up every time that I open a fresh Chrome browsing session. Again, the setting that I personally like to choose, because I have so many things open throughout the day, I really like this Continue Where You Left Off feature. So if I have 10 tabs open, right before I close out at the end of the day using this red X icon, and I have Continue Where You Left Off enabled, then when I reopen these the next day, those same tabs are all going to open up. So this can be a really nice, efficient time-saving feature. And again, I also really like this. When I was switching between devices, this has saved me a few times because it reopened everything that I had last, which was such a really great thing. Okay, so I always recommend kind of setting one of these to most people just to enhance your your efficiency. I'm going to go back for now. Let's start opening up some different Google services. So I am going to go into the waffle icon or the Google Apps icon. We like to call it the waffle icon because it looks a little bit like a waffle iron. But you can see here that there are a lot of different Google Workspace applications that I have access to. Now, clicking on any of these is going to open them up in a new tab, and I'm going to start doing that in just a second. But first, I just want to show that you can also drag and drop these in any order that you see fit. So for me personally, I like to keep Gmail, Calendar, and Drive at the top because those are the three services that I use the most. So I'm just going to start clicking in here. I'm going to open up Gmail, and then we'll take a second. We'll open up Calendar right afterwards. Maybe I'll even start that. Nope. Okay, we loaded a little bit quicker here. So I'll click in, put Calendar, and then we're going to open up Drive. All right, perfect. So as I mentioned, I typically will be working in these throughout the day. So I'm always constantly coming back to these tabs. However, I'll typically be opening up other documents as well. So maybe I am opening up some meeting agendas. I can just click and start opening some things here. Okay. So I'm going to open up some of my documents and we'll kind of simulate the actual setup of a person's workspace. Just scroll down a little bit. Maybe we've got some other lists, some other things that I want to open, maybe even a spreadsheet here. Okay, so this is starting to get really full across the top. You can see that I've got just a few tabs open here. I've only got, 6 tabs, and still this area is really starting to fill up pretty quickly. So one thing that I like to do is I like to use Google's tab management systems in order to start getting really organized here. So one thing that you can do is for those tabs that you visit throughout the day, every day, I like to use a pinned tab for these. So I'm just going to right click here on one of these and choose the pin option. And you can see it's going to make that tab really small, and it's going to move it over to the left-hand side. And I'm going to repeat this with calendar and with drive because, again, I'm constantly visiting these throughout the day. It's making it really nice and easy to find these because they're going to stay over to the left. So for instance, I can't drag these out and lose them among some of the other things that I have open. If I let go with my mouse, they're always going to pop back over to that side of the screen. So again, it makes it really easy to find. One other difference you can see is that it's also removed the X icon. So for those things that I really never close out of, like Gmail, calendar, drive, chat, for the things that I always have open, I don't need that little X icon taking up space. And I can always right click to unpin or close that tab later on. Okay. Second thing that I really like are tab groups. And this is something newer that Google has added over the last few months to really enhance our productivity. So let's talk about a use case for this actually before I move into this. Let's say that I'm starting to open up documents throughout the day, but as I'm kind of reading through this list here at the top, it's not really clear to me what overall project these belong to. Okay. So it's easy to lose sight of that, especially when you're getting into 10, 20 things being open. These tabs will start to kind of minimize and be collapsed down, and it can even be difficult to read the content of the tab. So tab groups are a really great solution for that because then it's easy to tell how these tabs kind of go together. So I'm going to start by creating a tab group. I'm just going to right click on any of these tabs here at the top and choose this item, add tab to new group. You can see here a colored dot is being added, and I'm being prompted to name this group. So I might call this project number 1. Maybe I'll make this a nice bright pink color so it's easy to see. And now my tab group has been created. I can see that this item is a part of this tab group because it's outlined in this bright pink color. And I can easily click and drag any of my other tabs over. And once they get surrounded by this color, just like this tab is here, it's now been added to this group. So visually, it's easy to see what tabs belong together when they are part of a group. You can even have multiple tab groups going at once. So if I just right click over here, add tab to new group, we'll click on new group. Maybe I'll make this one green and we'll call this one project number 2. So nice and easy. Another benefit of this is that you can collapse these tabs when they're not in use. So if I just click on that tab group name here, project 1, project 2, I can tuck away everything that's contained inside of these, and I can click and drag to reorder them as well. So if I want project 1 to be first and project 2 to be last, I can always change that up. Okay. All right, I think that that's just about it. So with that, let's go back into our presentation for a little bit of a recap here. So Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you for just a second.
Austin, that was really insightful. Thank you for showing us that. What does Wursta offer for clients who are trying to help optimize their Chrome?
Yeah, that is such a great question. So we offer in-user guides on workspace management. We offer customized short training videos on any topics of your choosing, and those can also be customized to your particular environment. We offer in-user training on workspace optimization, featuring a lot of the same content that you saw here today. And we can even do admin training on Chrome profile management. So actually walking through your environment, your security settings with you, and customizing them to your organization's needs.
That's great to hear. Before we get in the...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So with that, I'm just going to recap really quick. So we talked about logging into and managing Chrome profiles. We talked about setting pages on startup and how to set up your workspace a little bit more efficiently using pinned tabs and tab groups.
Thank you for the recap, Austin. Before we move into questions, I just wanted to talk about our upcoming event schedule. That we have a lot planned over the next few weeks. Feel free to check out the link. It's in the chat, and be sure to sign up for the things that are coming up down the road. Also, we'd love to hear your feedback. There's another link popping into the chat. You'll receive a follow-up email after this, as well as a short survey, getting feedback on today's discussions. also offering some packages specific to Google Chrome for all registrants. Your Worsta rep should be reaching out shortly to schedule a quick call to go over and debrief what was covered today. With that, we can turn it over to questions.